Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to be making the moon pie from Genshin Impact. So for everyone who plays the game, this is a 4-star recipe that you obtain after reaching reputation rank 7 in Mondstadt. So when I was researching how to make this, I found this French pithivier. So this is a pie that's made by enclosing filling between 2 discs of puff pastry. And there's a couple of different variations. You can get vegetarian ones, you can get meat ones as well, which is what I'm going to be doing. These really fancy fine dining ones, and then also you can make them as a dessert, and I think this is actually how they're most often made. So to plan mine, I know I need to use puff pastry for the outside. The filling I'm going to go with beef and pork, and then for the vegetables, potato, carrot, swede and onion. And then there needs to be some kind of gravy as well. You can see it dribbled around the outside and there's some inside the pie. So that's the plan. Let me show you how to make it. So I'll start with the fillings. So in my Dutch oven here, I'm going to put about a tablespoon of vegetable oil and then fry off the pork and the beef. I'm going to mix that together and then add in 15 chopped mushrooms and half a diced white onion. We'll leave that to cook down for about 15-20 minutes or so with the lid on. Then going to roast our vegetables. So this is about 2 carrots finely chopped, 2 potatoes that I've already part boiled, and a quarter of a swede which is also part boiled. So then going over with about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, a sprinkling of salt, some freshly ground black pepper, this is a sprinkling of oregano, and then about a teaspoon of fennel seeds. Give this a quick mix together with my hands to get everything coated, and I'm going to pop it in an oven at 180 degrees for about 50 minutes to an hour until it gets golden brown. So after the meat mixture is cooked down, you're going to want to separate the meat from the liquid. We're going to use the liquid to make the gravy in a second. So in a small pan, I'm going to fry off 2 cloves of garlic in about a tablespoon of vegetable oil until it's golden brown. Then I'm going to add in all the meat juices. After it's simmered for a few minutes, I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and then 2 tablespoons of red wine. This is just going to give us a bit more depth of flavour in our gravy. I'm then adding 3 teaspoons of cornstarch, which has been dissolved in 6 teaspoons of water. I'm going to bring the mixture to the boil. This is going to help us thicken the gravy up. I'm going to add 200 millilitres of milk, and then I'm going to continue cooking it until it becomes thicker and smooth. Now we have all the filling ingredients ready, we're just going to mix them together. So I've taken a big mixing bowl here and added all of the meat, and then I'm just going to pour the gravy over the top of that and give it a mix together. Here we have the roasted vegetables. They add a nice bit of colour to the filling. So I'm just going to fold that through and make sure everything's evenly combined. We're going to chill the fillings in the shape of the pie. So I've got a bowl here that's going to be my mould, and I've covered that with cling film. I'm then going to empty the mixture into the bowl, press it down lightly to pack it together, and then cover with the rest of the cling film. This is going to go in the fridge for about an hour to chill and set together before we use it in the pie. So for the pastry, I made a bit of a mistake here, so you do definitely need puff pastry. You can't take any shortcuts. So I tried to make a rough puff. So I first grated 185 grams of frozen butter, then to that I added 450 grams of plain flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 eggs, and 65 grams of ice water. Then mix that together into one smooth mass, gave it a bit of a knead until it all came together, and then popped it in the fridge to chill. So I tried making one moon pie with just my rough puff pastry, but the top didn't have that much definition in it. So I tried again, and this time I used the bottom of my rough puff pastry. You can see that circle here that I've then dropped the meat onto, giving it a bit of an egg wash, and then on top I'm placing some actual puff pastry that I bought from the shop. And this is really hard to make on your own, so if you want to do that, that's fine, but I just recommend buying it. And this is what's going to give us the really defined top with the spirals that we're looking for. So I'm just gently going around, pushing out the air pockets, and making a tight seam between the 2 pastries and the meat inside. Once I've done that, I'm trimming off a bit of the excess, and then I'm going to thin out the lip. I've trimmed it one more time, and then we're going to give everything a brush with egg wash. The reason I've thinned out the side is because we're going to roll it up in a second, and if it's too thick, it won't work. And you can see here I'm taking a knife and turning over the lip back onto itself, and just pressing down with the dull side of my knife, making sure you get a tight seal all the way around. For the final decoration, we're going to go around and do these spiral cuts. So this is very hard to do, so you want to take your time and make sure you don't cut all the way through. And then just going around the edge, making these little indent cuts for a little bit of extra decoration. I've transferred the whole pie onto a grease-proof paper-lined baking sheet, cutting a hole in the top to make sure the steam can escape, and then placing it in the oven at 200 degrees for about 30 minutes. And here we have the finished product. So I'll pop the little crescent moon on top there, just to cover up the air vent. This mixture I'm dribbling around the outside is a mixture of 1/4 cup of gravy, 1/4 cup of oil, and then about half a teaspoon of mustard powder. And the mustard powder kind of acts as an emulsifier, which ensures that the oil and water won't separate. I'm just going around drizzling this around, and then I'm doing a few of them special chefy kind of swirls where you push the spoon into the plate and give it a little drag. I'll put a picture of the in-game moon pie up here so you can see what it looks like. I didn't have any mint, but I had some parsley, so I thought that would look okay. So I'll just pop a few leaves in and then we'll cut it open. And then there's the final shot. I think I did the game justice on this one. It took quite a while, and of course the first pie didn't come out very well. It's very important that you use puff pastry for at least the top. You can use rough puff or some other kind for the bottom, but you definitely need puff pastry for the top, otherwise you won't get that spiral effect. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing so you can see the rest of my content. On Thursday, I'm going to be teaching Gordon Ramsay how to make grilled cheese, so make sure you stick around for that. See you next time.